Hey everyone, Sandy here. Welcome to a new episode slash video of Beyond Blessed, where I talk about where God is at work, either in my life in general or in the Bible. In case you guys don't know exactly where Beyond Blessed came about, God had actually, God had helped me impulsively, I guess, in a spiritual good way. um, God led me to this. I started wanting to really share where God is at work in general and do what Psalm 9:1 says to share about his wondrous deeds. And I just felt like this is a really great way to do it, to really get his word out there and to not just get his word out there, but to encourage you guys and inspire you guys however I can, spiritually, anyways. So, yeah, um, let's get started, I guess. Today on Beyond Blessed, I want to talk about something that happened to me very recently, and I'm trying to be very careful how I word it because, I really don't want to give downright concrete details about it, but I want to share enough to help you guys see that God is definitely at work. So, bear with me if I pause and think a little bit. I'm trying to be very careful how I word it. So, recently, there was a guy who reached out to me online. A guy I have no idea who he is. I never met him before in my life. I mean, the only thing I really know about him is that he supposedly goes to church. I did speak to a lady after it happened, and even I guess like a little before it happened, I suppose. I don't know. I heard about him. Um, so to start off, in case you guys are confused, um, to start off, the reason that he contacted me was mainly because he was trying to help someone that I knew, well, someone that I know, and I was trying to connect the two so that they would connect and they would connect and I would just be out of the equation pretty much. And that's pretty much how he ended up talking to me. And I spoke to a lady who knows him around the time he reached out to me, and she confirmed that he goes to church. So at least that he supposedly goes to a church or used to. So anyway, so yeah, I connected the guy with the person that I know who needed help, and I connected them, and I stepped back from the situation, and then about a day or two later, the guy reached out to me again, and it had nothing to do with the person that I know who needed help, absolutely nothing to do with it. And he randomly told me, he randomly asked me to dinner, and he was asking me if I would like to go with him to dinner. And to me, okay, like to me, that sounds like a date to me. It really, really sounds like a date. And I'm just like, I was like really shocked because, for one, I don't know this guy. I have never met him before in my life. I only hear what the lady told me about him. And like, he randomly just like kept talking to me after the fact that I was trying to connect him, and I did connect him with the person I know. So I removed myself from the equation, and he still wanted to keep talking to me. And it was really, really weird. It was sketchy. It was kind of creepy. Whether he goes to church or not, I hope he does go to church, obviously, but like, it was just like a huge red flag for me. So I told him immediately, if it is a date, no, I am not at all interested whatsoever. But I said it in a nice way, obviously. I wasn't trying to be mean. And then he downplayed it after that, and he was saying, "Oh, it's not a date, it's not a date, it's just friends hanging out." Okay, still, I was in complete shock because this came out of nowhere from a guy, again, I don't know, I've never met in my life. I'm just hearing whatever I hear about him, it may be true, may not be true. I don't know. It just seemed really sketchy. I was starting to get a weird feeling about it all. And I, unfortunately, because I was in shock and I don't really do well with words when like I'm in intense emotion like that. It just, yeah, it was hard for me to think at that time because I was just completely in shock and trying to figure out, okay, what what's going on, what's happening, why is this happening, who is this guy, why is he trying to ask me out on a date, and then he tries and says, it's not a date, it's friends hanging out. Like, it was just really, really shocking. And so, unfortunately, I said, well, if it's not a date, then lunch would be fine at a fast food restaurant. But then he was saying, oh, what kind of food do you like to eat? And so I just was like, okay, this is really, really weird. I have a really weird feeling. I didn't tell him this, but I just like really just took a huge step back from the situation, and I really got alone with God for about an hour or so. I really reflected. I tried to look at it from God's point of view, and obviously like I noticed the weird feeling kept growing stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. And three things came to my mind actually, um, in my deep reflection with God for an hour about this. And the first thing was, and I'm not at all saying that this is true for the guy, but for some reason, the first thing I thought was of a sermon that I recently saw about demons in the church. I'm not saying he has a demon in him. It's just I don't know why. It just came to my mind. Just it was the first thing that came to my mind was the sermon that I recently saw about demons in the church. The second thing that came to my mind about this was in a movie called Pilgrim's Progress. There is a lead character named Christian, and he there's a scene in the movie where he's trying to go on the straight path that God has planned for him, and he's tempted to go off path, and that was the scene that came to my mind as well. And then another thing, the third thing that came to my mind about it was in the Old Testament when David, right before David faced Goliath, his brother, David's brother, um, I know some people call him Eliab, but considering I've been studying Hebrew off and on and whatnot, I'm just gonna call David's brother Eliab, which may sound kind of weird, but I'm just going off what how they pronounce Bible names over in Hebrew language. So yeah, I'll just call him Eliab. So David's brother was arguing with David before David went and faced Goliath. And a former pastor I used to listen to actually pointed out that if David had stayed and argued with his brother, then David would have missed the calling for God, for God to lead him to defeat Goliath. So it's really interesting. I don't know why those three came to my mind, but they did. They definitely came to my mind. And so after an hour of deep reflection with God and such, I ended up talking to the guy again, and I said in a very kind way, um, I said I'm not trying to be rude, but I'm really not interested in hanging out with you or going out to eat with you. I'm really not interested, and I hope you understand. And he immediately read my message, which I noticed that before. Like anytime I would message him, he would immediately read it and reply, which I was just thinking, okay, that's a little that's like a big sign of, ooh, I really want to hear from this girl or something. I don't know. It's creepy. So yeah, he wrote back and he said he understood. And so yeah, that was that. And then this isn't even over. So, and then I ended up talking to that lady again who said she knows him. And the lady was telling me, she was warning me to stay away from him. Don't talk to him, to stay away from him. And I don't even need to know why. I don't need to know. That's all I need to hear because the lady is someone that I'm friends with and I've grown to like trust, obviously. I trust her input, and she's obviously, she's Christian as well. So I definitely trust her and her input. So when she said it, And just lining that up with the weird feeling I was feeling that was getting stronger and stronger about it, and then my deep reflection with God, it just all lined up. Was like, okay, God's definitely protecting me. So um, I immediately um, I immediately blocked the guy from ever talking to me, messaging me ever again. So yeah, crisis averted. Just wow, it was really creepy and like yeah, I don't know. I'm just really thankful, and I'm really beyond blessed that God protected me in that way. And like I definitely prayed for the guy, and hopefully he will definitely grow closer to Christ for sure. And yeah, um yeah, that's pretty much what happened. And I am just so beyond blessed that God protected me, and he looked out for me and guided me in the moment. And I don't know, I didn't know, but I felt like I just needed to stay away from the guy, and I'm so beyond blessed that I did. So yeah, so today's scripture I really want to read doesn't really have anything to do necessarily with my situation, but I don't know, it just came to me. Like God obviously wants me to read this to you. So I'm going to read from Psalm 100 NASB. Psalm 100 NASB. Shout joyfully to the Lord, all the earth. Serve the Lord with gladness. Come before him with joyful singing. Know that the Lord himself is God. It is he who has made us, and not we ourselves. We are his people and the sheep of his pasture. Enter his gates with thanksgiving, and his courts with praise. Give thanks to him, bless his name. For the Lord is good, his loving kindness is everlasting, and his faithfulness to all generations. I love that. I know I say that every video, but I love scripture. I really love scripture. I love what it shows us, what it teaches us. I love that it all came from God through people. I love it. I love it. So anyways, where do you guys see God at work in your life, or in general, or in the Bible? If you want to, leave a comment. And if you feel comfortable, also leave a comment about any prayer requests, and I will be happy to pray for you. And until next time, God bless always.